Chosen one. Something in your spirit already warned you before you even clicked this video. You felt that chill, that whisper deep inside your soul that said, "Be careful." Because not everything that looks kind is pure, and not every hand that offers you food is sent by God. There are moments in life when the enemy disguises himself as comfort, appearing in the form of generosity, peace, or even friendship. But tonight, you must hear this clearly. God said, "Do not eat what they offer you." This is not about physical food alone. It's about spiritual contamination. The enemy feeds minds before he poisons bodies. He feeds emotions before he destroys faith. Be careful what you accept, what you agree to, what you allow to enter your life. It may look harmless. It may look like love. But it could be bait meant to destroy your divine energy. You're not here by accident. You've been guided to this exact moment. There are no coincidences when heaven needs to speak. You are the chosen one, and something powerful is unfolding around you. Write 99 in the comments. It's time to release your wish to the universe. Speak your warmest desire out loud, and let the vibration of your faith echo beyond this screen. If your spirit woke up while listening, don't scroll away. Like this video. Subscribe now. You belong here. The light is calling you back to yourself. There's a pattern that the enemy uses. He never forces you. He tempts you. He offers something disguised as kindness, a meal, an invitation, a conversation. But hidden behind the offer is energy meant to tie your spirit to his frequency. That's why you've been feeling heavy after certain encounters. That's why your energy shifts when some people leave your presence. You're not imagining it. You're sensing contamination, something that entered your spiritual system not through a wound, but through a shared table. That table may have been physical, or it may have been symbolic. It could have been a deal, a conversation, an emotional exchange that looked innocent. But the moment you accepted it, a part of your peace began to fade. God says, stop feeding off what they give you. Stop accepting their approval, their flattery, their fake care. They know your weakness isn't greed, it's compassion. They know you're not easily fooled by material things, so they offer emotional food instead. They offer comfort when you're tired, company when you're lonely, validation when you're doubting yourself. But the cost of accepting their offer is spiritual hunger. They feed your flesh and starve your soul. Chosen one, discern what you consume. You are not meant to eat from every hand, nor drink from every cup. The spiritual war is subtle. You think you're rejecting evil because you don't touch what's dark, but evil often comes dressed in warmth. That's why your discernment is your armor. You can't afford to take everything that's offered to you just because it's presented with a smile. Ask yourself, does this bring peace, or does it bring confusion? Does it nourish my faith, or weaken it? God's warning isn't about fear. It's about purification. He's cleansing your environment. He's cutting your appetite for what's fake, for what drains your light. This is why lately, certain people's energy tastes bitter to your spirit. It's not arrogance. It's awareness. You've outgrown what once fed you. This message is a mirror. It's not about rejection. It's about protection. You're being trained to recognize what's holy and what's harmful. Sometimes the poison comes wrapped in politeness. Sometimes it comes as sympathy, but the wise don't just see what's offered. They feel what's hidden. You're learning that not everyone feeding you wants you strong. Some want you silent. Some want you tired. Some want your glow dimmed so theirs can stand out. But heaven won't let that happen. God's protection is refusing entry to what no longer aligns with your destiny. And when you stop eating from the wrong table, everything changes. The taste of peace returns. Your clarity sharpens. Your intuition grows louder. You'll see that those who once felt sweet now feel sour, because your spirit has matured beyond their frequency. This is your awakening. You're remembering who you are. The chosen ones do not feast with the ungrateful. They dine in the presence of purpose. The night always tests the appetite of the chosen. When darkness cannot break you with pain, it tempts you with comfort. That's why lately you've been offered things that look harmless, yet feel strangely heavy. A meal shared by the wrong soul. A compliment from a heart that hides envy. A gift that glows on the surface but carries invisible weight. These are not coincidences. They are spiritual tests disguised as gestures. God said, "Do not eat what they offer you, because once you taste from a table not meant for you, you'll hunger for things that starve your spirit." The enemy doesn't only use words. He uses flavors, emotions, memories, and people who appear gentle. You must learn to discern not only what you hear, but what you consume. You've been guided to this message because something within you already knows the truth. Your soul has been trying to warn you through dreams, through sudden loss of appetite, through unexpected tension in your stomach when certain people come close. Those are not random sensations. They're divine alerts. You are not here by accident. You've been led to this point for a reason. Write 99 in the comments. It's time to release your wish to the universe. Let your faith vibrate beyond this moment. Speak life into your future. Don't hold it in. The energy you send now will return multiplied. If your soul is stirring, don't ignore it. Like this video. Subscribe now. You belong with others who see beyond the surface, who live through truth instead of illusion. Every chosen one reaches a moment when they must fast, not from food, but from corruption. It's not about starvation. It's about purification. When God tells you not to eat what they offer, He's training your spiritual digestion. Some energies can't be processed by your soul anymore. You've changed, and your body feels it. That's why certain foods make you restless now, why certain conversations leave a strange taste in your mouth. You can no longer pretend that everything is safe. You are awakening to the fact that spiritual poisoning is real, and it often comes through familiarity. Think about it. How many times have you ignored the small unease that came with an offer that seemed good? How many times have you said yes to keep peace, even though your inner voice screamed no? That voice wasn't fear. It was foresight. The chosen ones are given an advanced sense, an inner radar that detects hidden intentions. You might not always understand why you're uncomfortable, but your spirit does. The world will call it paranoia. God calls it protection. When you reject what's not meant for you, you're not being rude. You're preserving your energy for divine purpose. They will call you ungrateful for refusing their food. They will accuse you of being distant, prideful, difficult. But what they don't understand is that you're no longer hungry for what feeds only the flesh. You crave truth, purity, and alignment. The food they offer carries spiritual residue: fear, jealousy, manipulation, control. It's not about the meal, it's about the motive behind it. That's why some people insist so hard on feeding you. It's not about generosity, it's about connection. They want you tied to them through what you consume, bound through invisible agreements sealed by a bite, a sip, a thank you. Be wise, chosen one. Some smiles hide contracts, some invitations hide traps. There's a reason you've started questioning everything lately. You're not cynical, you're cautious. Heaven is opening your eyes to see how energy travels through actions. You're learning that every offer carries an imprint, either of light or darkness. When you consume without discernment, you open the door to frequencies that don't belong to you. But when you wait, when you pray before accepting, when you listen to the still voice inside that says, "Not this one," you move in divine rhythm. And those who walk in divine rhythm never fall into traps. They step over them. So if lately you felt detached, even from people you once loved sharing meals or moments with, don't fight it. It's not loneliness, it's liberation. You're breaking spiritual contracts you never knew you signed. The hunger you feel isn't emptiness, it's the craving for divine nourishment. The world can't feed that hunger, only alignment can. God's preparing you for a new table, one where everything offered nourishes your destiny instead of draining it. Hold on to that truth. He's removing the poison so you can taste purpose again. The air feels different when deception hides in kindness. Chosen one, you've begun to sense it, the strange tension that enters the room before words are even spoken, the flicker of unease behind someone's smile, the heaviness that follows what should have been a moment of peace. That's the vibration of spiritual contamination. God said, "Do not eat what they offer you, because the enemy's most successful weapon has always been disguise. He does not come to you with horns. He comes with hospitality. He does not bring you poison in a cup labeled death. He brings it in a cup labeled love." The chosen ones must learn to see past presentation. You must learn to detect energy before it touches you. What they offer may look harmless. A simple meal, a handshake, a compliment, an opportunity. But the energy behind it is designed to drain you. Some people feed you not to nourish you, but to weaken your focus. They know your light is powerful, so they try to dim it with distractions disguised as blessings. That's why you must pay attention to how you feel after you accept something. If your peace feels interrupted, if your sleep grows restless, if your heart feels heavier without explanation, that's a sign that what entered your spirit was not from God. You are being trained to recognize poison that wears perfume. You're not paranoid, you're perceptive. Heaven sharpens your senses because your destiny is too valuable to be diluted. The chosen ones carry a frequency the enemy cannot reproduce. That's why he attempts to corrupt it. He uses food, words, and energy exchanges to make your vibration unstable. A polluted spirit loses its discernment, and without discernment, even the chosen can be deceived. You must guard your energy as if it were gold, because in truth, it is. Every offer, every invitation, every shared moment must be tested by the spirit, not the senses. The moment you stop testing what's offered to you is the moment you allow infiltration. Spiritual warfare rarely looks like violence. It looks like comfort that slowly kills courage. There are people who will insist on giving to you because they need access to your light. They will disguise control as care, manipulation as generosity. They'll say, "You've changed," when you start saying no. But that word, no, is your sword. When you say no to what feels wrong, heaven applauds you in silence. You must remember, rejection is protection, and separation is sanctification. The moment you stop accepting everything from everyone, you begin reclaiming your energy, and that's when clarity returns. That's when you start seeing who's been feeding your fears instead of your faith. Chosen one, you've already noticed it. Your appetite for meaningless conversations, toxic food, and low-frequency connections is fading. You used to crave their approval. Now you crave solitude. You used to eat at their tables. Now the smell itself disturbs your peace. This isn't arrogance. It's awakening. The closer you walk with God, the less you can tolerate what isn't aligned with Him. The taste of gossip now feels bitter. The sound of flattery now feels hollow. You no longer confuse noise with nourishment. The universe is rewiring your senses to recognize purity. Every no you say now builds your protection. Every time you walk away, you reclaim another piece of your power. The ones who offered you false sweetness will call you cold. They'll say you've forgotten them. But what they don't realize is that your spirit has outgrown their poison. You can't unsee what you've seen, can't unknow what you now understand. You realize that not all love is safe, not all care is sincere, not all help is holy. God has given you the ability to feel energy as truth, and now you must trust it. When He said, "Do not eat what they offer you," He wasn't just talking about a plate. He was talking about anything meant to enter your being. Protect your mouth, your ears, your mind, your heart. Not everything deserves access to your spirit. There will come a moment soon when the temptation will return. It may come through someone you miss, or an offer that feels too good to refuse. In that moment, you'll remember this message. You'll feel that still voice inside say, "Be careful." That's your cue. Don't hesitate. Walk away. Because obedience in that second could save you months of recovery. You are being fortified to discern without proof, to trust what your spirit feels even when logic disagrees. The world might call it overthinking, but heaven calls it divine instinct. That instinct will guide you to safety long before danger reveals itself. The quiet before betrayal always feels holy. Chosen one. It's that calm moment before someone offers you something that seems harmless. Before the invitation, before the smile, before the "I made this for you." It's the stillness right before the test. God's voice isn't always thunder. Sometimes it's that whisper that says, "Don't take it." You feel it like static under your skin, a vibration that warns you, something's wrong here. That's not anxiety. That's your spiritual alarm. The chosen ones are built with divine sensors. Their spirits detect deceit long before it speaks. That's why your body tenses when someone with masked energy draws near. Heaven wired you that way so that you could recognize danger wrapped in sweetness. You've started to realize how sacred your energy truly is. Every meal, every moment, every shared space becomes an exchange of frequency. When someone cooks with jealousy in their heart, that energy travels into what they offer. When someone hands you something with unspoken resentment, it vibrates through the gift itself. Energy cannot lie. It carries the fingerprints of its creator. That's why God said, do not eat what they offer you. It's not about manners. It's about spiritual immunity. He's protecting your soul from contamination. You're not paranoid. You're discerning. You're not being antisocial. You're staying sanctified. The world won't understand this level of awareness. They'll mock your caution, saying, it's just food, or you're too sensitive. But that sensitivity is your survival. It's the radar that keeps you alive in a world where evil wears perfume and dresses like kindness. People who operate in darkness will always accuse the light of being dramatic. They'll say you're overreacting because your refusal exposes their intent. You're not rejecting people. You're rejecting energies that want to feed off your purity. You've been chosen for something greater, and the higher you rise, the more selective heaven requires you to become. There will come moments when you'll question yourself. You'll wonder, am I being cold? Am I losing compassion? No, chosen one. You're learning boundaries in the language of spirit. Love without discernment becomes self-destruction. Even Jesus broke bread only with those who carried faith, not deceit. There's a reason he warned of wolves in sheep's clothing, because the enemy always imitates intimacy. He doesn't show up in obvious evil. He shows up in comfort zones, in nostalgia, in people who say, remember how close we used to be. Those are the traps designed to reopen access to your light. Don't go back. Don't taste what God told you to let go of. If you knew what some people whispered over you before offering you kindness, you'd never sit at their table again. If you saw the envy behind their generosity, you'd lose your appetite for approval. You were not called to blend in. You were called to be set apart. You are the table, not the guest. You are the meal, not the consumer. Your energy is nourishment for others, and that's why you must protect it. Every time you allow darkness to feed from you, you lose fragments of your power. But every time you say no, heaven fills that space with light again. You're not starving. You're cleansing. You're fasting from falsehood. You're becoming light in its purest form. So when God tells you not to eat what they offer, it's not rejection. It's refinement. He's preparing you for a higher table, one built not on manipulation, but on miracle. A table where every presence is pure and every offering carries peace. You'll know it when it comes, because your body will rest, your mind will quiet, and your spirit will expand. That's how you'll know it's divine. You won't have to question or defend it. Real nourishment doesn't require explanation. It brings confirmation. Until then, stay guarded. Protect your mouth from gossip, your ears from lies, your soul from emotional sugar. The sweetest poison is still poison. Chosen one, this chapter of your journey is about sacred hunger. You're learning to crave only what aligns with your calling. You're no longer impressed by surface. You're no longer tempted by counterfeit love. You're no longer moved by emotional bait. You're awakening to the truth that your spirit is allergic to what's not divine. The enemy's kitchen is loud, but heaven's table is quiet, and the quiet is where your power multiplies. Chosen one, this is where the truth unfolds like thunder behind the silence. You've seen too much, felt too much, and survived too much to ignore the signals anymore. This isn't paranoia, it's prophecy. You were never meant to eat what they offer you, because the things they bring to your table were never meant to feed your spirit. They wanted your guard down. They wanted your intuition numb. They wanted you distracted, heavy, and disconnected from your divine source. But God intervened. He whispered before the poison reached your lips. He warned you before the damage could settle in your soul. The ache, the unease, the sudden loss of appetite. It wasn't sickness. It was revelation. Heaven has been detoxing your spirit from every counterfeit connection that tried to feed you death disguised as care. You are not the same anymore. You can't be fooled by what sparkles. You've seen the difference between light and imitation. You've tasted both, and now your soul refuses what's fake. You feel the vibration of truth before words even form. That's not arrogance. It's divine refinement. God sharpened your senses because the next level of your calling requires spiritual precision. You can't carry sacred purpose while feeding on contaminated energy. That's why your body reacts, your heart closes, and your mind grows restless when you're near the wrong table. You are being recalibrated to purity. What once satisfied you now disgusts you because your frequency no longer aligns with manipulation. That discomfort is your sign that your anointing has outgrown your surroundings. They will still try to feed you, chosen one. Some will do it softly, through sympathy, nostalgia, or fake reconciliation. They'll say, "Let's forget the past." But you know what they're really offering: reattachment. They want to feed you the same poison that God already delivered you from. You must remember this truth. When God frees you from a table, you never go back for dessert. That sweetness is not for your spirit, it's bait. The enemy always returns with the same ingredients, just rearranged. Familiar faces, familiar flavors, familiar words, but the same hidden venom. And if you accept it again, you'll find yourself fighting battles you already won. Don't let pity become your prison. Some tables are meant to stay empty. You've been chosen to live on a higher frequency where your sustenance doesn't come from people, but from purpose. That's why you're being called to fast, not just from food, but from falsehood. God is stripping you of dependency on human validation. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their comfort anymore. You don't need to sit with those who secretly wish your downfall. This isolation you feel, it's not punishment, it's preparation. You're being trained to dine with destiny, to sit at the table heaven built for you long before betrayal tried to invite itself. That's why your hunger feels different now. You crave stillness, not noise. You crave authenticity, not applause. You crave truth, not temporary comfort. The chosen ones always reach a point where they stop eating for survival and start feasting on revelation. And revelation tastes different. It burns, it cleanses, it exposes. It shows you how much energy you gave away by accepting counterfeit love. It shows you how many smiles were poisoned, how many gifts were traps, how many invitations were assignments to drain your soul. But it also shows you how protected you've been. Every time they tried to feed you destruction, God blocked your appetite. Every time they tried to sweeten manipulation, He made it taste bitter. Every time you almost fell for the illusion, He reminded you who you are. That's why you feel like something greater is guiding your decisions. It's not coincidence, it's covenant. You've entered a divine agreement with truth itself, and truth will never let you starve. Chosen one, your new table is being prepared even now. It won't be surrounded by jealousy or deceit. It will be filled with peace, authenticity, and divine alignment. Those who once mocked your discipline will witness your overflow. They'll see that obedience is the most powerful appetite of all, because when you refuse the enemy's feast, heaven serves you abundance. When you decline manipulation, you inherit miracles. When you say no to what's poisoned, you say yes to what's promised. This is your transformation. The moment you stop feeding on validation and start feeding on revelation. So listen closely. When they offer you something that feels off, when your spirit trembles even as your mind says it's fine, pause. Trust that hesitation. It's holy. Don't eat what they offer. Don't accept what your spirit rejects. The chosen ones don't live by sight. They live by vibration. You were never meant to survive on scraps of false love. You were meant to feast on divine truth. This is your awakening. You're not losing people. You're losing poison. You're not walking away from kindness. You're walking toward clarity. And soon, when you sit at the right table, everything will taste like peace. That's how you'll know you finally made it home.